I opened DaVinci Resolve for the first time, and I just stared at it. 8 pages across the bottom, color science panel I didn't understand, a node graph that looked like somebody's Robitussin dream, and then a timeline that would turn red for a reason I wouldn't even understand, let alone did I even notice it for the first few days. And I would find out about 2 weeks later. I thought I would be editing by the end of the day. I was not editing by the end of the day. I was editing by the end of a day. It was not that day. I never wanted to use anything else though. I just wanted to understand what I was looking at. And this is what that looked like. It's not a highlight reel. It's the wrong turns, the wasted renders, all of it. This channel isn't about being the best at DaVinci Resolve by any means. It's about what it takes to actually learn it. The time, the study, the right gear, and being comfortable with being bad at something until you're not. That's it. That's the whole channel. Not a filmmaker, not a YouTuber. I come from a trades, creative background. I enjoy picking up skills that are hard to learn, and I work them until they're not anymore. That's why I chose DaVinci Resolve, because I wanted to build something that could eventually pay. Not a hobby, a skill with a return on it. Not a pro, nor do I claim to be at all, by any means. I have no film school, no mentor, no roadmap. All I have is the software, the manual, and then the time I had to carve out to actually learn it and study it. I made some decisions before I knew what I was doing that ended up creating some walls that I hit pretty hard down the line. So first I'll tell you the decisions I made, and then I'm going to tell you the walls those decisions created for me. First one, why did I choose Resolve at all? I had options. Everybody has options, but Resolve Studio is where the real work gets put in. The AI tools, the color science, the restoration pipeline, it's all there at a level nothing else touches for the price. That was clear pretty fast, but what wasn't clear is how deep all of that really goes. Second decision I made was Studio and not the free version. This one I got right, even if I didn't fully understand why yet. The free version isn't a demo. It's a different product. The noise reduction tools I needed, the full color science panel, the AI features, it's all locked behind Studio. I didn't want to learn the wrong version of the software, plain and simple. Decision number 3, the AMD GPU. Every tutorial on YouTube assumes you're on NVIDIA. Every performance benchmark, every render setting recommendation, every just enable GPU acceleration instruction, NVIDIA. I'm on AMD. And the gap between what those tutorials described and what I was actually seeing on my screen was the first wall that I hit that I couldn't just search my way out of. OpenCL versus CUDA, driver quirks nobody warned me about. When a GPU upgrade is absolutely necessary, I probably won't be going that AMD route again. But for right now, if you're on AMD, I'm talking to you. I think there's more of us than the tutorials acknowledge. The fourth decision I made, I added it early. 4 dials, 8 buttons, and 0 idea what to map to them. The instinct was right. The right gear removes friction. But I stacked a second learning curve on top of the first one before I had the foundation to use either one correctly. I eventually found a pack called Pro Profiles for DaVinci Resolve from a company called Sideshow FX. Pre-built profiles, hundreds of shortcuts. Every page of Resolve mapped out for $35. I installed it in 20 minutes. And understood maybe 15% I was seeing on my screen. That's not a knock on the pack at all. That's a knock on where I was. The lesson, a force multiplier only multiplies what you already know. If you don't know anything yet, you're just more organized about being confused. Okay, now I'll tell you the walls that I hit after those decisions, and also a couple walls that were just due to my lack of experience. And yes, I will be glancing at notes, so don't get all judgy. The first wall I hit, the AMD performance gap. I already mentioned it, but it wasn't just a settings issue. It was a credibility issue. You're watching someone walk through Resolve, smooth as glass on their NVIDIA rig, and you're looking at your timeline dropping frames on a project that should be simple. That makes you question your setup before you question your settings. It took a while to separate those two problems. The second wall I hit was the Stream Deck Plus on top of Resolve. Two systems, neither one learned yet. Every time I'd try to figure out a Resolve shortcut, I'd map it to the deck. Every time I mapped something to the deck, I'd forget what the underlying Resolve command was. I was building a control surface for software I didn't control yet. Then there's the color page. It looked approachable. It is not approachable. I thought I understood contrast. I do not understand contrast. Not in the way the color page demands, at least. The scopes alone took a week to make sense of. The node graph took longer. Then there's the Fusion page. We'll come back to Fusion. Not ready to talk about Fusion. Alright, Fusion update, still scared of it. Final wall was the proxy. I was hitting performance walls before I even knew what a proxy was or why it even existed. I knew something was wrong, I just didn't know what to call it. And when you don't know what to call the problem, you can't search for the solution, and that's its own kind of stuck. So here's what I know now that I didn't know going in. Kind of sum it up. 1, this takes more time than you think. Nobody tells you that up front. I'm not telling you that to scare you. I'm telling you that to calibrate you. A bad timeline is the #1 reason quit in month 2. The right gear removes friction. The wrong gear creates it. I found that out both ways. The AMD situation and the Stream Deck before I was ready for it. Equipment decisions made before you understand the workflow have consequences. And number 3, the Blackmagic manual is a primary source, not a last resort. I wasted real time before I learned that. The answer I spent 3 hours searching for on YouTube was in the manual in 20 minutes. Number 4, the top Resolve creators on YouTube got there by grinding the exact same learning curve you're on right now. I watch them like a student, and it's not just background noise. I actually take notes and apply the actual application. They earned their position. Respect that. And number 5, study ready is not motivation. It's discipline. You clock in for it the same way you'd clock in for any trade. The difference in progress between those two is not small. I didn't start recording when I started learning. I didn't have this idea yet. So episode 1 right now is where I'm at right now, not where I started. The next episode, we go all the way back to the beginning. The first real decision I made. Why DaVinci Resolve Studio and not the free version? What I knew, what I assumed, and what the difference actually cost me in time. So if any of this sounds like where you are, stick around, I promise. And also, when did you realize Resolve was going to take a little more time than you thought? Drop the moment in the comments.